It's Astrology Roast. I think it needs to sound like a shitty intro, like a funny shitty intro.
Hi everyone, and welcome to the first ever episode of Astrology Roast. We're really excited to bring this podcast to all of you out there in La La Land. This podcast is going to be a deep exploration into everything astrology. We're going to hate on everyone equally, and we're going to be roasting all of the star signs. So if you're a bit sensitive, you might want to step outside for this one, because we will be hating on everyone.
So all the water signs, you can shut your phone off right now.
Yeah, we don't want to hear any of that. And the comments is switched off. So no one's comments or feedback is welcome.
Exactly. I think we should start with maybe so people kind of get to know us a little bit more. We're going to say a few disclaimers about our star signs and our motivations for life. So I'm in Aries. My sun is in Aries.
Get out.
Yeah, so that's why I would say I'm deeply Aries in the way that I'm super competitive and very fiery. Could be sometimes a bit offensive, but my Aquarius is my ascending sign, so I can get a bit detached from everything, especially emotionally.
It has been hard to connect with you.
I will also say in advance that I have a really crazy relationship with Aquarius. My dad is Aquarius and all my ex-lovers, so I think in English you can call it daddy issues. Definitely every Aquarius man that I meet in my life is immediately in the process of destroying my heart, I could say. What about you, Karen?
Well, yeah, so as for those of you who don't know me, I'm Karen. And I guess my disclaimer would be that I'm a big Gemini, big time. So I'm very easily distracted. I'm all over the place at any given time, have lots of failed businesses and entrepreneurial ideas. But I guess my Achilles heel would be Scorpios. So I definitely feel both fearful and deeply attracted to Scorpios. And they terrify me. So I guess just letting you guys know that we do have our own triggers on this podcast. But yeah, we're going to try and get over that and share what we know about star signs and what we don't like about all the star signs as well.
This is not an apology. I don't feel like I need to apologize. I think Aquarius people have earned my genuine hate, attraction, fear, and deep love for them.
Yeah.
So I'm not apologizing, but I'm just saying.
Yeah, I think it's good to be upfront.
Yeah. Karen, what brought you to astrology?
It's a good question, Itai, and not one that I've thought about deeply.
Obviously.
But I think I was brought to astrology probably by you, and also a Cancerian friend of mine who's insane connected me to an online astrologer known as Nadia Shah, and she does some of the best, most high quality eye makeup in town. She's a Sag moon, so she loves to travel. And I really was drawn to astrology, allowing me to analyze, criticize, interpret, and understand others better. Yeah, and what about you, Itai? What's brought you to astrology and your obsession?
I always loved the mystical world. But I think astrology really gives you a way to be offensive to your friends without, you can use astrology basically to hate on people without being really offensive. So for example, when someone is like, oh, you're such a Virgo, what they mean is like, you're such an uptight bitch. Or like if someone can say like, if you have a friend that's like self-absorbed in an insane way, you can be like,
in particular,
you're such a Leo, so it gives you kind of like a framework to express negative emotions in a safe environment.
And just in thinking, you said you were attracted to spirituality and astrology from quite a young age. Do you think that was one of the reasons why you were playing with a Ouija board in your house when you were...
Listen, we're definitely going to talk about my past, but I think it's too early.
Yeah.
So we decided to make a podcast, and I think a lot of people, the first question is why?
Yeah.
Why are we doing this?
Well, I think it's good to be clear that no one's asked us or encouraged us to do it. So it's definitely a self-motivated project. But we want to share what we know, and I think people are always really curious about why they're behaving the way that they are and why that they're insane. So why not? Why the hell not?
You know what? I think why not is a very good answer to the question.
So I think before we dive a bit deeper, we thought we'd give a bit of an astrology 101. So your real bare bones, the real meat and three veg of what astrology is about. What are the star signs? What are the elements? What's going on here?
What's going on here? So we're going to give a brief explanation to the average person. So basically, when people ask you what's your sun or what's your star sign, what they mean is what's your sun sign. When you are born at a certain place in the world on a certain time, the planets are in different locations in the sky. Your sun sign is what people would refer to as your star sign. And your sun moves every month from sign to sign. So for example, I was born on the 31st of March when the sun was in the sign Aries. But I was born on a certain time. And on that time, there is also a rising sign. The rising sign is also called as your ascending sign. Your ascending sign is the way that people perceive you. So it's almost as if you're like mask or the way you walk around this earth. It is a part of your personality, but it is more of the shell of your personality. Then all the other planets are in different locations. In our podcast, we're going to refer mostly to your sun, your rising, and your moon. Your moon has to do a lot with your emotions and your fears. So just for the example, and obviously because I just like to talk about myself, my ascending sign is in Aquarius, which we're definitely going to talk about a lot. Trigger warning. And my moon sign is in Virgo. And this combination creates kind of like a very rigid approach to feelings and emotions. That's why every feeling that I ever had has to be labeled and put in a box, in a cupboard,
and repressed.
Exactly, and repressed. And it all needs to have a title. This is the emotion of love. This is the emotion of happiness.
Yeah.
And they're all labeled and organized.
Yeah. So if you have a star sign and every time someone's told you what that star sign's about and you've been like, that doesn't really fit me, that's not what I'm about, it might be worthwhile to check what your ascendant or rising star sign is and what your moon sign might be. So that just is really easy to do. You just need to find out what time you were born and the date that you were born, and you can just do that online, and that might give you a bit more indication as to why you're crazy or not as crazy or not as creative as you should be,
or boring as batshit,
boring or hungry all the time. So like there's a lot of knowledge about yourself that you can find out.
And it's worth mentioning that we just talked about your sun sign, your rising, and your moon, but there's also all the other planets in different places.
Yeah.
But we're not going to focus on that just right now.
Yeah. So also going to give you a bit of an overview about the elements of astrology. So there are 4 different elements, which if you've ever watched Captain Planet, you might have a bit of an idea about elements, so fire, water, air, earth. They don't go into like wind and all the other environmental issues that Captain Planet does, but just the 4 elements. So the first element, or the one closest to my heart rather, is air. So air elements include Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. So love the air signs. I am an air sign. They love a good chat. They love thinking, chatting. Air represents, wind and flexibility and movement. So if you've ever found yourself talking really rapidly with someone, getting really excited around them and just wanting to explore philosophy and ideas, and, also if you're with someone and they can't pay attention very well and they keep getting distracted and interrupting you, you're probably chatting to an air sign. So that's your, again, Gemini, Aquarius, and Librans.
Great signs.
Great ones. Love them. We love you guys.
I'm going to talk about the next element, which is actually fire, which is obviously close to my heart as an Aries. Fire is, who doesn't like a good fire? Who doesn't like a good bonfire in the middle of a cold winter night? We all do. I think fire is just like the element. It's the signs that are very creative, very warm. The signs in Aries would be the signs in fire would be Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. Sorry, I get really excited when I need to talk about my sign. And I think also the fire signs are very confident. People fear fire sometimes because it can burn you, but it can also give you a lot of energy. People use fire to generate energy. These signs are creative.
Genocidal.
We're going to talk about which sign is Hitler. He's Caspi, Aries and Taurus.
Oh, God.
I say, we're going to talk about it. But let's say a Taurus wouldn't bother. That's all I can say. Fire signs. Very out there, very strong, confident, energetic. Can burn you if they don't like you.
Love them. Terrifying as well. So the water signs include Pisces, Cancer, and Scorpio. So water, they're very emotional, very in tune with their feelings and the feelings of the world. Also, sometimes miserable as well, very sensitive.
Very sensitive.
Very sensitive. So, again, your Cancerians, your Pisces, so, think about fish, water, all of that.
I think a good thing.
And Scorpios who are insane, and we've spoken about that before. I can't really talk about Scorpios in a detached manner, but
No.
I
think
shut it down.
My favorite explanation about water signs is that water is, you can see your reflection, because they're very emotional and they have very high emotional intelligence. So in water, you can see your reflection. So you can see yourself, but you could also see through water and see other people. And they're very I really like this metaphor. Also, another disclaimer, I have no water in my chart. So a lot of my emotional disabilities are a result of that. And the last element, which is, maybe it is the last because it is also the least, is Earth. If you ever noticed a boring person in your life. Nah, I'm joking. Earth, I don't like them. Obviously, it's because I don't like myself. My moon is in Virgo, which is, some would say, one of the earthiest earth signs ever. Earth is all about stability. It's all about logic. It's all about making sense. Earth signs, which are Virgo, Capricorn, and Taurus, are very practical. They're very goals-oriented.
Organized.
The physical world, they love a good meal, they love a good piece of furniture. They're very and I think I obviously have some resentment towards them, but I think Earth is, we all living on it, like it's a crucial thing, and they're only doing their job, so we need to accept
want them around. You want them around.
You want them around. You want them to plan your birthday party. You want them to build a building. I don't know. You want them to do stuff that's important.
So that's a bit of an overview of the elements, an explanation of as well what the difference is between your star sign, your sun sign, and your moon sign. So now we're going to have a bit of a... what are we going to do? We're going to have a bit of... What coming to?
Well, obviously the Gemini is starting a sentence not knowing where it's going.
What?
Karen. But what we're going to do is, I would call it an experience. And that experience is our experience of doing it and your experience as the listeners. We're going to talk about a scenario, and we're going to say a little bit of what each sign would do in that scenario. I think it will give our listeners a bit of a feel to what each sign is capable and incapable